Can you see me now? How do I move this chat to... Why doesn't it come through? All right, I have no idea what's going on. I think I'm gonna have to go back and read up some more tutorials. I'm just gonna play the game. If people want to join in later, that's cool. I thought I knew what I was doing, and turns out that it automatically does it. So when you start one on YouTube, it does different things for it. So. All right. I think there's a bit of confusion in terms of the streaming software I use is conflicting with the YouTube requirements. So I want to level up Nasha. Not Sasha. Sorry. Actually, let's check to see if we have my hard. Yep, I did all those. So yeah, let's do a little bit of farming and. So hopefully people will figure out that I already got rid of the other streams because there seem to be some conflicts. So right now I'm not really farming for... Actually I am. I'm farming for job JP for my Sasha, I think. I really want to get Whisper to higher level, but you know, like people are saying that Whisper is actually a kind of like a heavy pay to win unit because it requires quite a bit of vision cards. I don't disagree with that at all. I think Whisper is very hard to build. You need a lot of different espers, maybe vision cards to really kind of make her shine. So she's not going to be an easy unit to build, to be honest. So this is what I do. I usually kind of bait these stupid things. Like I'll bait the last one. See if I can bait them. So we'll kill them all off. And this, everybody probably does. Oh, there he gets. He fell for it. So he going after her. So all I gotta do is just put one here. And then put this guy here. And then now he's trapped. That guy can't get out. But I need to switch positions because I'm trying to level up my JP for my Sasha, because I just I got her to level 99. For those of you that joined or perhaps were waiting for the other stream, I apologize. I was dealing with some technical difficulties again, because I kept saying that the key that I was using is being used already. So I didn't really quite understand what that meant, because I know what the key is for, to actually activate my stream. But when I was trying to activate it on my software, it says YouTube's claimed that I was already using it, which is kind of weird because I just ended up starting another stream and it worked. And I think Jericho was in the room asking for another link, and by the time I got to it, it closed. So it's just a big cluster F. So I apologize. Hope you guys are having a good night, by the way, those of you who are in stream right now. I want to welcome you guys. Just hanging out tonight, just chilling. I didn't really like this week's arena either. Just a lot of the repeat fights from previous sessions. So I didn't feel like they were warranted to make a video, you know, spending like several hours to clip those clips. It didn't seem like it would be working out for me. So let's just go ahead and gather some for Whisper for now. So this is what I do, guys. This is what I do. I trap the last monster there, because he can't hit me. He can't go anywhere. So he just sits there and stares at me, while I just basically wait for the crystals to spawn and then just gather them up and then kill it. I guess this run I'll just do Whisper. So in a little bit, I'm gonna just start talking about general things, but I think it's a good idea for people to start thinking about leveling up your what do you call it? Vision cards. I think it's important to level up your vision cards. I think it was hard to do when you're a beginner because you just didn't have enough materials. You didn't have enough shards for those cards. But now that we've gotten so many free summons, I think in general people should have a lot of shards built up for their vision cards. This one I could just go get this one. And another cool thing about Dragoon is you can actually just jump in the air. Hey, what's going on, man? Sorry about earlier if you were trying to get in that stream from earlier, but yeah, I was having some issues. So one cool thing about the Dragoon is if you just get her or get your unit to jump, then you can actually avoid an attack altogether. I think that's kind of a neat trick. So I think this run I'm gonna just do Sasha as much as I can. I gave all those JP to Whisper. Drink out of my my cup there. Let's see. But I found a new spot to farm. Yeah, man, I hope you had a good weekend, dude. My weekend was alright. Nothing too exciting this weekend. I was actually watching a lot of old Hong Kong movies. A lot of old Hong Kong action movies on YouTube. Brought back a lot of childhood memories. Next week ought to be exciting, right? Hopefully they will give us the update, because I think the global team put up information about all the stuff they're going to do to change on global. I'm kind of surprised that they're working really hard for global, because let's see, we're getting tons of new updates that perhaps quote unquote we shouldn't be getting according to the timeline. But I think everyone's figured out by now our timeline for global is a lot different. And to be honest, I'm really glad for that. I'm actually a big advocate that they should have just gave us all those updates a long time ago, but that might sound kind of negative considering the fact that people are happy right now about that. So, and I'm happy too, you know, I'm glad that they're giving us all these updates, because by God, it's not like I thought I was the only one who really don't like some of the things that's going on with this game in terms of you know, the tediousness of going through menus, the tediousness of like the farm and things like that. But they're gonna fix all of that soon, and I'm happy. I'm really happy for that, because I'm all about good quality of life for these type of games, because it's gonna set itself apart from the other games, all those other crappy ass games that's on the market. And there's so many games that are shutting down. Like I know I made a brief mention about how their games are just shutting down across the boards. I think each day I'm sure there's like tons of games that's contemplating of shutting down. Oh, that was a mistake. I should have set the panel instead of the unit, because hey, sorry Jericho, man, like I was running some issues. Hey Ranti, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Sorry Jericho, my bad, man. Like I had it set up where the stream would go off, but by the time I was on like at 9:45, so I was trying to figure out how to get it. I thought it would just auto do it, but I turned on the option to auto do it, auto start it, but it asked me to check my computer, because it says that I was using the key in two separate streams, which made no sense because it's the same key. So I think something went wrong along that line. So I'm gonna have to go and figure out somewhere, get some tutorials somewhere, how to work that out. And the other thing is, I'm using Streamlabs, but for some reason, as you can see on your screen, I can't see my chat. And I looked up the tutorial videos for it, or for some reason, I just cannot get that to work. And so it looks like I have a lot to learn about actual streaming. So I think I'm gonna try to do more baby streams, you know, 10-minute stream, just kind of test it out this week and try to learn a lot. Hey, what's going on, Ben? Welcome, man. Hope you guys are having a good weekend, or had a good weekend, I should say. I figured I'd start at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US, because a lot of people who you have to relog, like my whole computer. But I already set up I've already set up my Streamlabs to have the chat log in front of all the other layers, and so it still didn't show up, and I'm not quite sure how all that works. Hey Mario, how you doing, man? Yeah, I know. I haven't streamed in a week, actually. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. That's makes me feel good right there. Actually, I spent the whole weekend watching old Hong Kong action films. For those of you who enjoy that kind of stuff, I was watching A Better Tomorrow. I don't know if you guys know that movie, but yeah, it's a classic from the 80s. Redo your login. Like, you're talking about my login for the Streamlabs or login for my YouTube? Like, did you use Streamlabs as well? Because I have to figure all that out. Yeah, I'm gonna try to trick this idiot here, this stupid cactar, to see. I better not do that. He can counter me back. So I'm gonna jump. See if I can jump on him. Into YouTube from Streamlabs. Okay, I'll give that a shot. I think I'll test it out more this coming week to kind of like really figure it out, because I would love to be able to see the chat and on the screen itself so other people can see it too. I know you guys can, but I can't. And so that's definitely something I need to work out the kinks. So there we go. We trapped that one guy. He's trapped now. So now I can just draw aggro from those other two and then just go ahead and finish them off. Actually, I can probably just finish them off. I know I can't. So I'm just doing the farming just to wait to people to come into the chat. After this run, we can see what we want to do. But I am farming multi. I was just waiting for people to come in. I plan on spending some energy tonight because that's what I usually do on streams. Is the least I can do, right? And I was actually farming multi quite a bit. Don't do it, Nash? What does that mean? Don't do what? Like, I actually like wanted to talk about like how powerful vision cards are. Because I think people should be spending their resources now on vision cards. Is 40 up at professional? What does that mean? It's 40 up at professional. What does that mean? I was going to actually go over some of my vision cards, even though I plan on making a video for it anyways this week, because there's some important things to talk about actually. Yeah, I agree. You should be on Zen mode, man. Is 40 up at professional? What is JP? 40 JP. Oh, 40 jobs. Yes, it is 40. But you know what? I think there's a better spot for farming, and that is, I'll show you real quick. Chapter 7. Scene 3, map 10. I think that's better. You know what? I think I cast a float. It just makes you float in the air. And then, I don't really know. I think maybe you can like skip terrains or something, because I don't think that's ever really useful, to be honest. Maybe in the future they'll give us like, you know, lava floors or something and you can use flow. But I remember that was a thing in Final Fantasy, right? Like the floors would be like poisonous or something like that, and then you have to like, then you can float and so you don't take damage from lava. Yeah, I think everyone, honestly, like regardless if you're free to play or pay to win, you should just kind of work on what you got instead of dreaming about all the future units. I know other people are making content about that, about mapping out what you're planning for and things like that. And I thought long and hard about that. You shouldn't really need to plan anything out, to be honest. Only thing you may contemplate about planning out would be if you decide that you want to go after limited time units. And I know I said on my pay to win account, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to stick with that. Because to me, that makes the most sense. Why are you polling for 15 units if you only can work on 2 or 3 at a time? Realistically speaking, you know what I'm saying? I think it's better to stack up your units with vision cards and espers and equipment than to simply just working on tons of units that it's kind of pointless anyways. What do you need all those units for right now? Nothing in the game really requires you to have that many units. Actually, you're right. Float does work against those ground attacks. Yeah, that makes sense. This is why streaming is cool, because everyone who clearly knows more than I do can interject and educate the rest of the community. I really wish I did kind of know more, but a lot of times I just kind of make assumptions, and it does me look like a jackass when I play the game. But eventually I kind of just figure out things on my own. But I guess as a content creator, I have to be more vigilant about, knowing, be more knowledgeable. But I'm with you, Ronti. I'm just trying to be zen-like too, man. I'm just kind of just like chillaxing, relaxing. Yeah, sure. I'll jump in. That team works because I'm betting they're just using charms. Because like I keep saying, PvP is his own animal. It's like his own thing. And you know how people talk about tier lists, and they're like doing these general tier lists about how this unit is so much powerful and shit like that. I think people always think in terms of PvP and arena. I don't think people really understand that PvE versus PvP is completely two different cultures. And you can rock it with you can rock both. Like you just said, you can rock both without actually having used any URs. And that's the crazy part, because most people assume that, when you label a car Lambo, you're gonna assume that it performs and things like that. But you don't need to drive a Lambo to work every day, because it's pointless. First of all, Lambo is very uncomfortable. I'd rather be driving to work a 30-minute commute in a very nice, comfortable car, SUV or something like that, American-built cars. You know what I'm saying? Why the heck would I want to drive a Lambo to work to show off or nothing? And I think that's how gacha games is designed, to get people to chase after that crap. But I'm not saying you shouldn't use your URs. Oh my god. Sorry, guys. Some jackass trying to be cool outside. But, I'm not saying you shouldn't use URs. By all means, build your URs, because some of them are just cool. I personally enjoy units based off of looks in their actual kits. I think that's what make me drawn to characters in this game. You're right. Charm doesn't work anyways, because currently the AI doesn't allow your units to charm. You have to be able to turn off other skills in order for you to charm. Actually, you know what? To save time, I'm going to go and split up my squad for those purples. So maybe I'll run a little bit. Hey, Ben, do you have password on yours, or is it just join? Because I assume it's a password. I can start one too, It's no big deal. I have plenty of energy. This week I haven't been farming much. I was actually toggling between the two accounts to figure out what exactly I was aiming for in the shops. And I think I'm pretty much done in terms of the shops. Anything extra is just bonus materials. Do you guys go to Twitch and watch other YouTube, like other streamers? Like, do you guys watch streams on Twitch? Almost done, guys, I promise. This is the tedious part of the game, is the farming JP. I'm going to do an account show and tell. I actually had that work, the account show and tell, with my Saturday summons. But I thought I made it kind of clear, because I didn't have sound recorded. Because a lot of times I turn off sound when I record music, or when I record something and I don't want to have background noise, where people can just enjoy the music. So when I record that like a dumbass, I forgot to turn back the volume up. Yeah, I think if I was to do Twitch, it'll be in consideration of trying to make a few bucks, right? But I thought about it. I was like, nah, I don't want to give myself that stress, to be honest. I think I'll stick to this format because, like I said, you know, all this money that you can make from these, unless you're huge, and if you're not huge, you're just making chump change. I used to watch other streamers. Stream beats. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I should write that down for background music. I know, like, if I actually become like serious about streaming, there's all kinds of stuff you can buy, like those little switchboards. You can switch quickly on and off and things like that. Is your room? Do I just find your room, Ben, or is this going to be passworded? You said EX2, right? I feel like streaming is fun, but I also feel like there needs to be engagement with streamers. And right now, I'm such a noob when it comes to streaming. I don't have any incentives for streamers to, if not streamers, for viewers to get involved. You know, like win prizes and like kind of like get involved, like you know things like that. I think that would be kind of neat though, because I used to watch YDCB. I don't know if you guys follow him. There we go. Thank you, sir. So Ziza is meta. For me, a very OP unit, full agi, aiming for moving first of all, using charm. After that, you steal time, you can't do anything. Yep, you're right about that. And I think people don't understand how powerful charm is. I try to showcase that off, but charm is stupid good in PvP. Like if you can get it off, wait a second. Oh, my battle setting is not on auto. Oh, great. This is the problem when you play this game on emulators. It starts going haywire. So I might have to jump out in a bit here. Damn, revitalized. Nice. Oh, you want to see my doggy? Hey, buddy. Oh, my thing crashed. Let me move him forward a little bit. No, he moved away. All right, let me relog in. So I was saying, like, vision cards are important because I'm gonna make a video about all this analogies and things like that. But if you guys watch it, it makes sense. Imagine your units are like cars, right? And what's gonna set your car from your enemy's cars is gonna be accessories you're gonna add to your car, right? You can add like what, missile launchers, machine guns, whatever. Maybe like a badass engine, you know, thinner wheels, whatever. Bigger exhausts, whatever, because everyone's unit is going to be the same, right? No matter how you look at it. Like if you got a level 99 Orlando and I got a level 99 Orlando, it's all the same because base stats are all the same no matter what you do to that unit in terms of when you're just leveling him up and when you're unlocking all the grids and then when you're leveling up all the skills. It's all going to be the same. There's no changes there. Everybody is the same. So the only difference are going to be your equipment, your espers, and your vision cards. So if you work on your vision cards, you can actually really set yourself apart from your enemies. Yeah, we're good. We're good. I'm in. So like as Mario was saying, if you wanted to go after the charm route in PvP, then you can stack up tons of agility on your units, and that's pretty much all you need, right? Because if you go first, chances are you're going to get that charm off, especially if you have Zazan, right? Zazan is really good at charming people. Get that haste up, get Zazan into the mix, boom, done. Yes. You talking about equipment building, or are you talking about like equipment in general, right? I think it also makes some difference when you have when you join a guild that has the stronger statues as well. Yeah, exactly. You're right. That's end game, exactly. And people, I think a lot of people are not truly understanding that because I'm slowly to learn that myself. I'm thinking, wait a second. I just brought up the idea that what am I going to do when I have too many units? And you don't really need to hard counter anything in this game, to be honest, right? Like, the elemental difference in damage is 25%. I get that, but that seems like very too much work to try to hard counter people like that. So it's better to have, like, nice equipment, nice TMRs, and things like that. Exactly. You hit it right on the head. Things that you can actually alternate on your own. And I think that's why I want to stress to the free-to-play community is like, yes, build a few units that you really want to play with, but then really go hard on spending your gems to buy shards for your vision cards. And then when they give you, or on the next run, I'm going to change that auto thing. And then when you have events that can farm certain things that can boost up your equipment cash, go for that. Zazana is really fun. Like, he's just really squishy, and then he's kind of slow. I think other than that, if you can improve his speed, he's pretty much obnoxious. Imagine if you charmed Orlando right off the bat, and Orlando did an AoE, killed his rest of his team. That's too fun. That's just that's too much. That's too much enjoyment, to be quite honest. Like, that, to me, that's like the epiphany of this game. Is when you come out with something like that and it works to perfection. It makes you enjoy the game that much more. Because look, this game is pretty. Like, we can all agree. It's very well done, right? It's basically reminiscent of Final Fantasy Tactics. And it's every day I feel like every day I log into the game, I get a little sense of joy because of the nostalgia that I used to get when I was a kid playing it. Oh, really? 50 faith. Okay, that's good to know. Thanks. Like, how did you figure that out? Like, how did you figure that out? That's how I... Is it because of the base concept of you need faith to do certain things? That's actually really interesting. This is my doggy. Hey, doggy. Say hi to YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Yes, buddy. That's my younger one. I guess, you know what, like that would be a huge incentive actually for actually, I don't know if it's a huge incentive, but in general though, when people do work on units, really look at the trust masters, right? The UR trust masters are obviously bomb. They're usually pretty good because they have the skills built in. So that's definitely something to do. Less brave equals less damage. So are you saying bravery actually doesn't affect your damage? I thought it does. I know it affects triggering your passives. Like, the higher the bravery, the higher the chance of triggering your passives. But I thought bravery does increase damage, physical damage, and faith increases damage dealt and damage taken. So in World Visions, bravery does not increase physical damage? So then you don't have to actually worry about increasing bravery that much. I just do it because I thought it did increase physical damage. I try to have everybody have level 97. Oh, I see. It doesn't lower it. Huh. So lower the bravery, the less damage is what you're saying, but it doesn't do that. That's interesting. So then I guess it doesn't harm you if you have lower bravery, but there's no reason not to have high bravery then. Right, reaction skills. Like if I get hit and Orlando triggers the evasion. So then does that not trigger, say, regen for Ayaka? You could take minimum damage. Oh. So it's kind of like the bravery doesn't work the way faith works in this game. Because the way faith works in this game, it does work that way. Lower the faith, the less magical damage you take. In Final Fantasy Tactics, it worked the other way around. So your tank can actually just go low bravery, low faith to take less damage altogether. So that's weird that they changed the faith, or they changed bravery like that, but they didn't touch faith, because faith makes perfect sense. That's good knowledge. So there's really no incentive to go low bravery at all. I think that's what I do. I just have every unit I have to go high bravery. I just put everybody at level 97. Yes, Jericho. Like the Final Fantasy Tactic event, it was so cool because even when they did the maps, right? I talked about this before in my other streams, but I generally delete my streams because if it's too long, I don't leave it on. Like I just get rid of it. But today I'm not gonna go too deep. Maybe just like an hour, hour and a half. But yes, when they did do the music, they also did the entire map where you have to fight the first boss from Final Fantasy Tactics. I thought that was awesome. That really made me feel like I was a little kid laying on my bed playing Final Fantasy Tactics till like 6 in the morning. Yes, Mario, that I knew for a fact, but I didn't know about the faith thing. If you have lowered, you take less damage from Final Fantasy Tactics days. But in this game, they didn't implement that system for a bravery, which seems a bit odd, right? If you think about it, but it makes sense for the faith. Wheatgrass Fools. Wheatgrass Fools. That sounds so familiar. Wheatgrass Fools. Let me type that in. Yeah, that name seems so familiar. Wheatgrass. Isn't he? Wasn't he the one of the bad guys? Yeah, he was the bad guys in Final Fantasy Tactics. Maybe they'll bring him back. You are really into the lore of FFT for sure. That game, the game story, it was very confusing. You know, when you were a kid playing that game, I got lost so hard in that story. Yeah, I think Gefgarion was the boss. He was boss for me in terms of doing damage. On oh, look at that. We need these on the white marshmallow raid. That was pretty nice. He was doing 99999 regularly for me, and then using that one card it increases damage by slightly more. I think Twin Dragons is really not that useful, to be honest. It's actually kind of a shitty card. I know. I think you're right, Ben. I should definitely go back and play FFT again. If I have the time, I would totally do it. But when you get older, it's harder to find the time. I would be. It would be kind of nice to play that though while I'm playing this game. I love the graphics in that game. I love the fact that how the classes had their specific designs and that they stuck with them when you switch jobs. Or the jobs, not classes, the jobs. And I think that was cool for me. Yeah, it was. It was politics, for sure, for sure. And I think that's what was so like cool about the game. The designers definitely put a lot of adult themes and whatnot into that game. And it was such a deep game, right? It was very deep. It really got you to use thinking, and I think that's what started like the whole strategy RPG thing for many people, myself included. Because after that game came out, I started playing all kinds of strategy RPGs, like Brigadine. I played that. I played Disgaea, which I wasn't a fan of because that game was so outrageous in terms of like leveling, and it just kind of got out of control. So I didn't get on to the Disgaea thing. Like I think when I played Final Fantasy Tactics, I was a late teenager, young adult. So yeah. Ah, there you go. They got you, Ben. They got you good, man. Well, I'm glad you're here though, because you seem to have a huge knowledge in terms of the game, and of course, obviously, if you do an annual playthrough through Final Fantasy Tactics, and that was actually my problem. I actually, believe it or not, never beat Final Fantasy Tactics because I kept getting addicted to the leveling part, and I just kept playing that. I just kept leveling, and I kept doing various things that I always get sidetracked from trying to get to the final end of the game. And I've seen the ending, I've seen my friends beat it or whatever. But to me, it wasn't really the draw for me. Like beating the game was actually quite easy, right? You can beat the game fairly quickly. But when I start playing these type of games, I get really like addicted to the grindiness of like farming stuff, you know, trying to max something that a lot of people wouldn't care too much about. Like I try to take every single unit in Final Fantasy Tactics and maximize every single job on every single unit. That's how psycho I was, man, for real. That took like I think roughly 200 plus hours to get halfway through, and I couldn't finish because that was just too much. Yes, Cloud was. I got Cloud. I mean, every time I play through the game, I had to go through my routine. Get Cloud, do certain things. Steal. Remember stealing all the items from that one boss that was like a samurai or something like that. He had the two assassin girls with him. Like just your whole goal was to steal the entire set, and that was so tedious because it was a chance. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about, Ben. You just love the fact that you can, maximize all your jobs because then you can do so much. I think my favorite was the thing about ninjas. You can dual wield, right? And I know it is ton of work. I know. I was a crazy kid. You remember the duping thing? The duping thing where you can dupe the Excalibur? So I will have Orlando have dual wielding Excaliburs. Yeah, I love Final Fantasy 12 too. Because at that time, that kind of like reminded me, oh my god, excuse me, of like playing an MMO, right? That game was very much like an MMO style gameplay. And at that time, it was really, refreshing to see that type of playing style for a console game. Nowadays, it's means nothing, but yeah, 12 definitely was a defining game for me. Those folks at Square, man, seriously, those people at Square, they're really good. They really know what players like. People who share the same mentality of loving these type of games, generally is fair assumption to say that we all have the same mentality of enjoying specific things that we all like. So yes, calculator. Yeah. As a secondary while holding Excalibur on all units and holding yes. Holy is such an OP skill. Calculator was a very interesting class. Hopefully she's not too broken, because if she's broken, it can really complicate Arena quite a bit. But yeah, that's why it was supposed to be only one, right? I think there was only supposed to be one Excalibur. Then when you dupe, you just dupe like hundreds of them. They removed that. They removed that and all the other versions of Final Fantasy Tactics. I think that only works in the original PlayStation version, right? Because I have the PSP version, which I played a shitload of that too. Because I love portable gaming. That's why I was so attracted to mobile games. Hey, what's going on, Peanut? The new unit Kane looks way too gay to be a Dragoon. Way. Well, but that's how he was designed in the original game. Like his entire gear set was to be that. I mean, you gotta think though, like this design was back in the 90s. Yes, calculator is broken. I know when you manipulate bars in any game, when you manipulate speed bars, like the gauge, it's generally speaking broken. I think Final Fantasy 6 came out, or Final Fantasy 4 came out like I want to say early 90s. So that means the Kane design, Rosa design, they're very old school looking, and they didn't change them, right? They didn't update them. So whatever we're getting is pretty much the same design. So, and I personally feel like that's cool. Yeah, but you do realize like the people at Square, they like to do a lot of, I don't know what the terminology is, like meta sexual kind of dude looking, like it's hard to determine what they are kind of thing. And that's like, I don't want to say that's a Japanese culture thing, but a lot of that definitely doesn't kind of like shine through in other cultures, right? In the Japanese culture, the way they design games, especially with Final Fantasies, they tend to go that route, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Right. Yes, on the console is definitely old school looking. But the artwork, yes. I thought he was skinny. I didn't think he was ever bulky. Yeah, time ages. Like I said, I was always a huge fan on my FFT team to have time ages, because Haze Quicken, dude. If you don't take turns, you're not gonna beat me, right? Imagine like hasting all your heavy hitters, like your bruisers. Yeah, dude. If those guys all had haste, you're in a world of trouble. Metrosexual, yeah, exactly. Metrosexual, that's the term. But I think the metrosexual thing didn't occur till maybe after Final Fantasy VII, when they started introducing that concept later on, like in terms of time frame wise. Because when I was a kid, I didn't really see a whole lot of that, right? Cloud was just this goofy looking guy, and then all the previous other Final Fantasies, they weren't like that. It was only in the artwork and later releases, like the PlayStation re-releases of all the Final Fantasies, the anthologies of it. I used to have all those copies too. The artwork was where they kind of made everyone look skinny and goofy looking. But I mean, the whole franchise of Final Fantasy is pretty iconic in terms of specific, right? The bomb, potions, X potions, Phoenix Downs, Chocobos, Moogles. So generally, those are all share across the board, and then the settings of each game, I think, is what set them apart. Like I think what nine went back to its old roots. Was it nine? No, it was nine. When you had that black mage, that iconic black mage character, forgot his name. Never got into nine that much, and eight was kind of like it went off a different tangent, and then of course ten is just when I like for me, that's when I started shying away from Final Fantasy. Is when they went that different route with all these weird stuff that they were like implementing in games, and that wasn't for me. I think that's when I kind of started to walk away, and then 12 drew me back into Final Fantasy. And then since then, I haven't never touched another Final Fantasy game. VV, that's right. Ah, man, I love that game in terms of just enjoying the fact that it brought me so much love because VV was such a well designed unit character, I guess. But I didn't really like some of the other games in terms of designs. They were just kind of off the wall, kind of swayed away from the whole traditional, your cliche cookie cutter builds, right? And today, modern world where you see mobile gaming, it's pretty much all cliche. Everyone uses the exact same cliche shit. Their main character has to wield a sword, has to have these spiky red hair or whatever, have some armor, you know. It's all the same. That's why it's so hard for me to like get into different games now. Because at the end of the day, most of it is the same. Nothing unique about them. And I think this game is so deep that if you're really good at math and you're really good at strategy, calculative things, you get rewarded really heavily. Whereas if you play a lot of traditional turn-based RPGs on mobile platform, a lot of it is trash. You know what I'm saying? It's all that tier list bullshit. You get a few chase rares and boom, you're set. But in this game, like everyone's slowly realizing, you know, the people who, in my opinion, playing this game, standing out, are the ones that are learning the little things about this game that can actually make you shine in more ways than the simple traditional way of just, you know, summon for as many powerful units as possible, boom, beat the game kind of thing. So, and I think that's why I still like to cover this game the most, because I'm contemplating about playing other games on the channel, but I'm just so shy because there's just not enough good stuff out there currently on the market. Yeah, Squall wasn't. Squall was more like your quarterback kind of dude from high school kind of look guy. Yeah, Squall was emo. Yeah, I guess that was the best. Yeah, he was emo. Yeah, Squall was like that quarterback, handsome dude that you looked up to as a kid. You know, he had that very what is that? That bomber jacket. He had that gun, the gun blade and everything. It was kind of a neat design, but I just wasn't into that game. After seven, I kind of just it dropped off. Actually, I know y'all gonna probably get on me for this, but I'm one of the few people in the world that do not like or did not like Final Fantasy VII. There, I said it. I hope that I don't lose all my subscribers, but I really didn't enjoy Final Fantasy VII at all. I couldn't even beat the game. Like I played maybe 50 hours in, and got to this one island I remember. I just kept starting to farm those monsters on the island, try to level up all my units, and then I just one day just stopped playing. But I did enjoy Cloud, and I think everybody enjoys Tifa. I'm not gonna lie, Tifa was a good design, great great assets. If they do a Final Fantasy VII banner, I really think it'll be because of two reasons. First one will be if the game's starting to die. Two, if the game is so strong that they know they can make several 100 million or whatever, then they'll probably release Final Fantasy VII. I know, right? Maybe I need to go and delete this stream after it's done. Final Fantasy VII is like, what the fuck? Nash doesn't like Final Fantasy VII. Kill him. Nah, man. Like I play the game. I had multiple copies of that game. Black label, green label, you name it, dude. I made a lot of money off that game. But like, I just couldn't sit down and finish the game, and I just couldn't do it. Like, for some weird reason, I couldn't do it. It was a really good game. Like, it was a well designed, well thought out game. But for me, it just wasn't it. My game around that time was actually Wild Arms and Legend of Legaia. Those were my two favorite games besides Final Fantasy Tactics on PlayStation. So. Yes. The memory cards, right? Shit. I don't know how many memory cards I ended up getting, but yeah. If you get a corrupt file, you're screwed. Scratch disk. That was another thing. The good old days, right? The good old days of gaming. Legend of Dragoon. Yes. I played that game quite a bit. I own like multiple copies of that game too. And this is later on when I became like a young adult. I was trying to do a lot of flipping, you know, on eBay. Actually, my friend and I, we were making bank off of Final Fantasy Tactics. I think he bought like 46 copies of Final Fantasy Tactics sealed, and he was flipping those bad boys for $200 each. So, Parasite Eve was a good game, and I never got into that. I didn't actually like Chrono Cross because I didn't think it was a successful. I didn't think it was a sequel to Chrono Trigger, because Chrono Trigger was so unique in its own right that Chrono Cross, I felt like it didn't live up to the expectations. Yes, Sephiroth will definitely make his appearance eventually in this game. And I'm not gonna lie, I would definitely summon for Sephiroth. Now, as an adult, that I have no insecurities about myself. Right? When I was younger, you know, I don't know. I didn't like the idea of liking Sephiroth or Cloud like a lot of people did. But now I think I have no problem with any of that stuff. It doesn't bother me anymore. Chrono Trigger, I felt like was yeah, like you said, revolutionary game. It redefined a genre. Like, it took away a lot of the cliche, a lot of the cookie cutter things that companies were using, right? And it completely changed the dynamic of RPGs. And for me, it's one of the greatest hits. I'm gonna go ahead and ask y'all, did you guys like Earthbound? Because seemingly, if everyone enjoyed the idea of SNES days and Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 3, what about Earthbound? What do you guys think about Earthbound? Because that was a late bloomer. That was a late bloomer of a video game. And good luck finding like a complete boxed version of that. That's gonna run you like a couple of grand, right? And that's crazy, Jericho, because Chrono Trigger, I don't define it as a JRPG, right? You know, I feel like personally JRPG has specific formula to it, and I think Chrono Trigger is a ball of its own entity, and one can say that it's pretty much made its own, like, is in its own thing, like his own encased entity kind of thing. Yeah. I suggest you guys play Earthbound on your PC. Just get like a emulator version of it or something. Just play it. It's good. It's such a odd and unique experience. That's all I can say. Yeah, that's an expensive game now. But back in the days, nobody bought that game. The advertisement was terrible. The push of, and plus it was the end of its life for the SNES, right? So anytime when you have games near the end of its lifespan, the games are going to be rare, so to speak, and they don't sell well. And I think that's the reason why the game's so freaking expensive if you want a hard copy. The other option is you can download it on your Nintendo Virtual Console, whatever, or you can actually buy the. Wait, doesn't it come with the mini Super Nintendo, which I own, by the way, because I think that's the reason I got it, was to play Chrono Trigger. I don't remember now. I gotta think about it. Oh no, did it come with Earthbound? I don't know. It came with something. What about Super Mario RPG? I think that's what like that I think was a great game. Like I think that is another one of those games that as a kid, actually I don't want to say as a kid, as a young adult, I think that was a great game. I think that's a must play one time in your lifetime game. Yeah, you can get a digital copy. Yes, you're absolutely right. Second, you can get a digital copy of that game. Chrono Trigger, though, yeah, Chrono Trigger, I think is the holy grail of games, in my honest opinion. I think Earthbound is the holy grail in terms of investments. If you're collecting games, hard copies, but Chrono Trigger, that game, I think it's the best game in terms of RPG for me. And they're like a non-traditional RPG. Final Fantasy is definitely Tactics is definitely the strategy RPG of all time. And then I can't really think of a actual traditional RPG that's my favorite. I just have too many. Earthbound definitely will be a contender though. Such a goofy ass game. I think so. Hey, what's going on, May? I think the first time I've seen someone. I think this is the first time I speak to you, May. Unless you switch names somehow or whatever. But welcome to the stream, man. Yeah, there's a lot of big shots behind Chrono Trigger. I think Square at that time had a lot of composers, writers, artists that are probably like the genre-defining big names. Now, obviously, no one's gonna sit here and memorize all those names. There's a lot of names, but I think I did do in my history video. I was able to learn a lot of their names actually. When I did the history of World Divisions, that's actually a pretty good video. I really enjoy that. Yes, Super Mario RPG, man. You know the thing about Super Mario RPG, because later on they made other type of games. I think it was called Mario and Luigi, across the different the handheld. Yeah, it's pretty much what Super Mario RPG started all that. It was awesome. Yeah, Akira Toriyama was a big part of Chrono Trigger, big part of Dragon Quest, right? Dragon Quest, big name. I think Chrono Trigger has one of the best stories. Maybe cliche by today's standards, right? Because if you think about it, everyone uses time travel nowadays. Is not even anything original. But at that time, it was just having that many endings too was kind of like so unique at that time, right? And Akira, which at that time as a young kid, young adult, was my favorite artist. I think for a lot of people, he was everyone's favorite artist. His style was so unique. It's so recognizable. And I think if you grew up in that era, if you didn't, oh my God, excuse me, if you didn't like Dragon Ball Z, there's probably something wrong with you, to be honest, at that time. Nowadays, I don't like Dragon Ball Z anymore because they've done it to death. You know, the whole power creep, I guess you could say, in anime, right? Power creeping. It's pretty weak, you know, in today's standards. I like more of like adult theme anime stuff. Actually, there's the anime that I watched. I don't know if it's considered anime or never, but it's called High Score Girl on Netflix. You guys should check that out, man. That shit made me cry. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very secure in myself. I'm gonna honestly say I cried many times watching that that anime. It's a short one. They did manga of it, and I think it ended. But it's so good. High Score Girl. Check it out, guys. It really brought back a lot of memories growing up in that era of playing different games in arcades. And that's what that game was all. That was what that anime was about. And I think I had rave reviews in Japan because it did touch a lot of people's nostalgia childhood because of the fact that the way that anime was told. Yeah, Dragon Ball really is. I think when Naruto came out for me is when it finally buried Dragon Ball. I really enjoy Naruto a lot. Very adult, very I think the best thing about Naruto was that they explained everything, right? Anything that happened in the anime, like how someone got away from some ninjutsu, whatever, they explained how it happened. And to me, that was kind of that was a very nice touch. Yeah, that's the same thing. Fillers for anime in general sucks. I tried watching Seven Deadly Sins, but just couldn't really get into it. Right now, manga wise, not really. I don't really read any manga anymore. I used to watch pretty much all of Naruto. I stopped, I guess, when Boruto came out, and then I tried to start watching Dragon Ball again on what is that called? Crunchyroll app, but no, it's like nah, can't get into it. But I think I would like to enjoy watching what is that thing called? Damn it, I can't remember the word. I think it has the word alchemy in it. It's on Netflix. What is that called? Okay. I don't remember the name, but there's one of the brothers a robot, and the other guy has like blonde hair. He wears like I think he wears that jacket, and his brother is the robot. I used to play JoJo Bizarre Adventure. I used to play that fighting game a lot, but I knew there was an anime, but I didn't actually watch that either. Damn it! I need to look that up. What is the name of that? Full Metal Alchemist. Yes, Full Metal Alchemist. Yes. That anime is really good. Yes, that's a good anime. Very like very good themes and stuff like that. I haven't actually got into too deep into it, so. But that is something my friend recommended. He watches a lot of anime, but. Yes, exactly. The Brotherhood. That's the one that has been recommended to me. And I have that saved up on my Netflix. And there's another one on Netflix. It's called Violet Garden or something like that. Violet Garden. That one is really powerful. So I recommend you guys check that out if you're really into like powerful anime. Yeah, I feel like when it started doing like the children and everything, nah, dude, I can't do it, man. Like I was already kind of like starting to wean off of Naruto after like Shippuden or whatever, and then maybe that was basically when Boruto started. I was like, nah, dude, I can't do it. I don't want to learn all these new characters, all these new annoying kids. Violet Evergarden, yes, Violet Evergarden, man. If you enjoy tear jerking, that's definitely something to check out. And I have that saved too. I haven't really got into it either because I need to sit down for those type of things. You have to be in the mood to watch something that makes you want to cry, you know. I understand, dude. Like, definitely, those type of stuff, it's not for everybody, man, you know. But like I said, you have to be in the mood, right? You got to be in the mood for like an action movie or a comedy, romantic comedy, whatever. You just got to be in the mood for it. Yeah, I'm not going to Cryland tonight or anytime soon. I do got a lot of stuff coming up for the channel, though. I think the vision card is going to keep me occupied for a while, the chat about vision cards. I think the rest of the community needs to be informed of the future, the true end game, as Ben said earlier, of War of the Visions, is everything but units. Because I think we're currently at a point of the game, for global anyways, that any future units in going forward isn't really necessary. At all, to be honest. We have nice units from every element. Tanks from every element. We have... I think we need more supporting units. That's my personal advocate for the damn game. Is please, give me more support. Like, why is Ike the only legitimate, quote-unquote, legitimate badass supporter, right? Like, give us more. Why aren't the other elements getting that? I know people like Grace, Mashiri is on the topic of conversation. Naya, I think, is alright. You know, she's probably like a solid 7.5, 7.5 to 8. But I need another like another solid tanky supporting unit, man. Like, I need that in my life. Heaven Strike Rivals, and they added a full meta opener, so I think there's a... Yeah, it's possible. Like, that's the thing with Japanese culture. Japanese culture is all about collaborations. And that's a big part of Japanese culture, actually. Collaboration, it's what makes everyone happy. So, I think Square wouldn't be immune to that. I think they will be actually probably applauding that. But in my opinion, though, they need to be careful which collabs they do. You can't just sign with any company to do collabs. I think they need to be very careful and make sure that it fits well with this game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Naya is squishy, and that's my problem right now. I'm building her, but I'm like, she doesn't take hits well, so in hard encounters, it's hard to bring her. Even during the level 80 challenge for me, when I brought Grace, she almost died. She barely clung on to life when she took multiple hits. But that's okay, because she's only 79, and I don't even have good vision cards or equipment on her. So I still was able to clear 80 with no issues. I think Warrior Light was the hero, though. He took like, I think at one point he took 5 hits in a row and didn't die. He was close, but he didn't die. And that's why I think he's one of the best tanks, if not the best tank in the game. And I don't know why people will argue otherwise. I think it's for content purposes, sure. But yeah, he's unanimous that he is the best tank in the game right now. Maybe in the future they'll bring somebody better, but right now I think arguably he's the best tank in the game. No, I don't think Nasha has full life either. Wait, are you talking about Nasha or are you talking about Naya? I think Naya does not, for sure does not. No, Nasha for sure doesn't have it because if you have a, I think if you have a white mage as a sub job, you don't get access to full life, if I'm not mistaken. Because isn't Grace a white mage? Like you can stack things on Naya and get her enough to have enough HP to survive. You know, you just need her to survive 2 hits. Even if she barely has any more hit points after 2 hits, is still living, right? That's all you need. But even Ayaka, like I noticed, even Ayaka at 89, 99, you can one-shot her in arena, in guild battles. So that's the big weakness. Until they bring us a unit that's kind of like Kirufei, in terms of a supporting unit who's so bulky and tanky, we don't have many choices. We really don't. Most of the supporting units in terms of healing are terrible in this game. And I don't know why. I think because the designers don't want us to have a lot of healers. And that's why when I first started playing this game, the content creators at that time all said you don't need heals in this game. But I'm learning that you do need heals. You need heals in specific situations. But you don't need heals in every situation. Naya has full life because isn't she a white mage? Right? She's a white mage as her main class. I think any main class will have access to all their full kit. But if you are not, then you don't have access to the full kit. Could be wrong on that because I know Selir is not a black mage. Wait, I think she is a black mage. Damn it. Is her main job black mage? Yes, yes. Word of Light heal is stupid good. You can only use once, but you only need to use it once. He took, like I said, Word of Light took 5 hits in a row from those stupid archers, and then I was proccing where I was in Q to use his heal, and boom, he healed for 2,200. So he was pretty much almost back to full life. He was like more than half. And that was it. That was the turning point for that battle. Yeah, Selir is a black mage, so that means Selir has access to everything. And because white mage is her sub job, she does not have full life. I think Ayaka is only good because of her, like you said, because of her limit break. That heal is gross. But other than that, she is really just as squishy as any other supporting unit. That's why a lot of people think Grace is somewhat a little bit better in terms, because you can actually build Grace to take like very low damage if you build her with proper vision cards, proper espers to really mitigate specific attacks. Right, but again, like I said, if Ayaka pops it too early, which she always does in PV arena, then she's just as bad as any other supporters. That the only thing that sets her apart is that AoE heal. That's it. And she's a little bit tankier, but again, any heavy hitter in this game can kill her in one shot. Yes, Grace is light, and so if you build her to be, say, magical resistance, which I don't think that's even a thing, right, in Dark, but if you build her for slash, I think that'll probably be a better build for her. Just give her like as much slash resistance as possible, kind of like how you can build Whisper. I think Grace can do a lot better in terms of facing those dark units. Well, here's the thing, Peanut. In the high level arena, any healer can turn the tide of battle. I think the consensus is that heals is very powerful in high end arena. But again, high end arena is just because people are willing to spend money, and that's it. There's no real difference. I have beaten people who I thought would be much higher ranked. You know, they're like whales and everything, and I've beaten them with my team. I don't really think it's a matter of if the people are higher ranked in arena are that much stronger than people of lower arena in terms of where the borderline is. I think it's just a matter of that, as I said before, whales are willing to spend gems to refresh for arena. And that's the major difference between spenders and non-spenders. Chances are non-spenders are not going to use gems to refresh arena because the reward isn't worth using gems to refresh. Whereas people who spend money don't care about the actual 2,000 gems for arena. They want to do it because they want to be like top ranked in something. And it's kind of like EPing measuring, right? If you think about it, that's what it is. I think the true skill in this game is actual PvP, not arena. To me, arena doesn't mean anything. I think PvP is where the game can actually shine, live PvP. But the system currently is bad. It's broken in the sense that it's not fair. Unless they fix that system and make it into a legitimate thing, then I think that's one of the best current system in the entire global market is that live PvP, it's really all about strategy. It's like esport. What's going on, Vaughn? How you doing, man? Are you having trouble making dodge Mithril armors? Like, I used to play Summoner's War, right? They try to do the esport thing where they have the live PvP. But that game was all about people who spend money. The strategy in that game is horrible. It's about luck and money. That's it. There's nothing else to that game. But in this game, in actuality, you can compete just as the same as a whale if you dedicate yourself to the right, I guess, what's the word here? If you dedicate yourself specifically to being successful for PvP. So if they ever have like championships or competitions and stuff like that where it's actually fair because everyone will have max out units to bring, then I think the game in that sense can actually enter into the esport arena. Wow, man, you're unlucky then, huh? A good thing is really easy to get that recipe. Because esport is a legitimate thing. I would totally invest in esports if I have more money more disposable income. Instead of investing into this game, I would just invest in esport itself. Peanut, yes, you absolutely do. You get 2,000 gems when you log in terms of intervals. I think it's 15, 30, 50, 100, 120, something like that. I don't know the exact intervals, but yes, you get 2,000 rewarded every so often. It's a nice little touch. We're farming pretty good, but so far we haven't got too many recipes, which is fine because I don't need too many platinum rods. You can farm that in the normal story mode. And that's what I did to trigger Whimsy Shop for a Warrior of Light. I farmed so many platinum rods. I'm not even farming this samurai sword at all. I think it's a waste of time. I recommend doing it for the bomb ash, because I think you need bomb ash for some other equipment. Hey Peanut, so how many units do you have right now, like that's near completion? And are you only building UR units? Hey Ben, are you iron? Because you're the host, right? You're iron, right? I don't like the delay in chat. Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay. Honestly, you should just wait till Saturdays. That's the best time to farm those pink things. So Peanut, if you follow my channel, this week I'm going to be talking about, especially for beginning players and mid-game players, and I guess for some late-game players, that concentrating on units after a certain number is going to be diminishing returns and making your account stronger. I can already see that you're going down the route that I was thinking like months ago. Just build like all my powerful quote unquote units. But you're gonna get to the point where you're gonna have too many units, and then they're not gonna be strong versus other players. But then again, you started the game kind of later, right? You entered the game around what? Warrior of Light. So you will have several months to catch up in terms of making your account stronger. Which is fine, because everything is relative in this game. There's no wrong way to play this game, in my opinion. But I do feel like if you play this game for the long haul, there's specific areas of the game that you want to be successful at. Personally, I don't want to be successful at PvP because I know I can't. I just don't have the patience slash, I don't know, brain cells to do it. It's like playing chess every day. I don't want to wake up to play chess every day. And for Arena, I think I just do it casually. And then I think I really want to concentrate on just clearing content for PvE purposes. Yeah, Rainbow is going to be everyone's problem. Do you guys think that, I mean, do you guys enjoy gameplay content? Like, because I don't do a lot of gameplay content. Do you guys feel like that's something that people enjoy watching? Because I feel like personally I wouldn't really enjoy it. Well, I mean, but see, when you say there's a wasteful way of playing this game, I think that's also like subjective, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if someone, like for example, I love to farm things. To some people, that may be wasteful because why are you farming for stuff that you already own thousands of? But that's something I enjoy doing. But it's important to know the basics, right? It is that I agree with. It's important to know what's worthwhile in terms of investing. And I think everyone values time differently, and everyone values what's being offered in this game differently. So if you feel like if someone enjoys PvP, to me that's wasteful. I can say that because I feel like that's not something I enjoy doing. But that's an opinion that's very subjective, obviously. So. Nah, there's no stupid units, Peanut. I think that's the point. I think that's the point that people are trying to make in general, that there is no real stupid units. There is no such thing. Even a unit that everyone hates, like Mashiri, it's actually a really good unit. And you know, Global can stand, like both Global and the Japanese servers, players, whatever, they all rate Whisper as a really bad unit. And I can kind of sort of see where they're coming from, but Whisper is definitely not a bad unit. It's just a matter if you want to dedicate your resources to her to make her as strong as her potential can be. Some people actually will dedicate all their time to PvP. Actually, Kung's not here tonight, but he's a huge fan of PvP. He farms a shit ton of the points every week, he says. Yeah, Whisper is definitely a niche unit, as is Mashiri, as is several other, well, as are several other units. Like, there's a lot of straightforward units, like Orlando is pretty straightforward. Even if you build him to be tanky, his main goal is to kill you as fast as possible. It's okay, Peanut. Everyone will do that because that's one way to get extra gems, and that's one way to increase your account. What's the word? Account level. I did that actually when I was trying to get Orlando. I just kept awakening random units, so I did do a lot of waste, quote unquote wasting. Before because I wanted to get those extra free gems when I could have just spent money and bought some gems instead. Hindsight's 2020, man. Yep. And if you like certain units, just keep raising them to make them stronger. when you spread out too thin is when your account actually can't go off the rails, and not necessarily terrible. It just means you're going to be behind in time. Like I said, everything's relative. So the fact that if you're a spender, it doesn't really matter. But if you're not a spender, you're behind in the curve because you joined the game later. But once you catch up, once everybody reaches the sweet spot, it doesn't really matter. None of the other stuff after the sweet spot matters anymore, because everything else becomes excess, right? And if it's excess, it doesn't mean anything. Correct. As Whisper or Sasayaki does require huge investments if you want to target specifics, but it's also not necessary. What exactly, like, why are you targeting specifics? Like, being able to only take 1 damage from enemy units, but then you can't kill them, it's a pointless way to invest. Like, it's absolutely pointless. There's no content PvE wise that needs you to take 1 damage from enemy units. Right? It's obviously it's a show. It's people creating content, and I think it's great content, but it's not necessary content. So the fact that Whisper requires so much, it's really kind of a weird thing to say, because all the stuff that you're building for her, quote unquote, can't be translated to other units as well. So it's not really wasted. It's just you're increasing your stash of nice equipment, nice vision cards, nice espers for the purpose of boosting your account, not necessarily just boosting Whisper. It's more of like a side effect, the fact that you have so much to play around with, making Whisper super powerful. But right, Jericho. See, that's the thing. Like, I know I just went on like this whole rant kind of thing. It's not a rant. I think it makes sense that people consider her to be a premium unit, just like people say that about Gilgamesh. But the thing is, right, you don't need to build her any way specific. You really don't. She functions properly even without deep diving into one of the resistance holes. You know, you don't need to, like I said, you don't need to take 1 damage from anything in the game. What is that? What purpose does that serve besides to show off on YouTube? What other purpose does that serve? So when you say relevant, Peanut, that's kind of like a loaded thing, right? Because what do you mean by relevant? Like, I don't do anything special in this game. I really don't. And all I do is I just kind of somewhat keep up with anything the game throws at me. But if you choose to compete in PvP, that's a completely different situation. Then absolutely you're right. You need to keep up in that sense. But there's really nothing to keep up, because, like I said, once you reach a sweet spot in the game where you have more than enough units to play with and more than enough equipment, vision cards, etc., then you can be competitive regardless of what new units comes out. Unless the power creeping is so bad that it makes all the previous units, previous cars irrelevant, which I don't think that's ever going to happen. Because if they choose to go that route, the game will be officially dead. You want to kick him out, Iron? Story mode is easy. You can beat story mode with scrubs on the team. In fact, I sludged through story mode just by using a high level friend. Guild battles, it's hard to win a lot of times, because you don't know what your enemy's units are. You don't even know what they're wearing. You don't even know what gear they have. A lot of it is just using good teamwork with your guild. Arena battle is kind of a niche thing too. Like, arena battle is it's more of like an entertainment really than anything competitive. And it's also imbalanced because spenders are going to be up there in the ladder because they're the ones refreshing their orbs. I figured. You probably were AFK for whatever for a little bit. I figure you're invincible, right? Thanks. That's my little guy. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. I'm trying to set it up eventually where I'll have both dogs in the background. You're on TV, buddy. Hey, buddy, you're on TV. He is a whippet. He likes to run. He's a runner, man. He has so much energy. But, you know, like I said, end of the day, I can only just speak what's on my mind, right? It doesn't mean anything. It's just one person's opinion. And then the day you guys play the game you've been playing, do your thing. I just like to be having conversations with you guys because I know I've been learning a lot from doing these streams. I've been educated quite a bit, to be honest. Well, Peanut, I hope to see that come to fruition for you. I mean, you're more than welcome to make videos or just jump in and share that because I think that's awesome. If you have a goal in mind, that's always nice to have goals in mind. I actually emphasize that to people all the time. Have small goals, right? And if you can reach that goal and that's what makes you happy, then, you know, it's your time, right? And at the end of the day, it's your time. You spend how you choose. But for me, this is definitely, unfortunately, the time killer. If the pandemic wasn't going on, I wouldn't really be doing as much of this as I'm doing now, that's for sure. But that's not saying that I don't enjoy what I do. I really love what I do, though. This is definitely entertaining. Yes, I have a Discord for my guild. And then I have various ones that I join for my other games I used to play. But I don't own my own. Like, I think it's you can own a free Discord, right? Yes, animals definitely. Everyone loves animals for the most part. I'm going to do a 5 of Warlight, Ayaka, Victoria, Glaciela, and Kane. Yeah, that's a pretty good team. That's a pretty good team. There's no denying it's probably like one of the better teams in the game. No, I didn't. I don't own my own. I do not own a Discord. I'll probably should set one up. I think that would like improve certain things. Maybe people can jump in Discord and then that way people can chat with me, right? But not everybody enjoys that, I think. Again, like if I started my own guild, I started my own Discord, started all this own stuff, that's just work stacked on more work. And then eventually it's going to get to the point where this feels like a job. And that's one thing I always try to avoid. But at the same time, I also understand in order to grow bigger, that's something I perhaps need to think about. So it's kind of a hard on the rock place, man. Yes, you're right, Ben. I think like I will talk to my guildies to see if they're cool with that, like the fact that we can use that specifically like a specific section people go into to type things and ask questions and things like that. Because my guild leader in that guild, he's a whale and he knows a lot about the game as well. Like he's very educated in knowledge of the game. And I think he's the type of person that'll gladly help people out too. And the guild, I enjoy it. There's only a few people in there, but many of them are actually people who follow this channel. So, Ranti, honestly, I feel like we don't. I personally would not be enjoying that aspect because you can't equip your monsters with anything, so they wouldn't be competitive. They would just be there as more like I don't know what the word is, but maybe just having it as an homage or just a token of something there. Like, you know, those monsters wouldn't be doing anything for us. It'd be kind of cool though if they go fight for you in like battle, like story mode. That would be one way they can do it, right? Like have these things as more or less options, just cute things to collect for the game, but you're not allowed to bring them to specific encounters. And I think that's a good way to keep things balanced in this game. I think one thing people need to keep in mind is that PvP is its own entity. Arena is its own entity somewhat. And then the rest of the game, like Raid, Tower, and stuff like that, they're technically speaking their own entity, their own play modes. And not every unit translates well from content to content. And that's why a global tier list never works for this game. I'm a strong advocate of a no tier lists in this game. Hey, what's going on, Quester? Welcome, man. Oh, you're hosting a multi as well? Cool. Yeah, dude, remember we talked about doing collabs and stuff? I think there's ways to do it for free. There's this app that's called Zoom. And as long as you don't pass a certain time frame or have too many people, it's free. So we could totally do that if you want to do like summon sessions together and things like that. I think that'd be kind of cool because I can definitely ask people to see if people want to get more involved in doing like community collab summons, just to kind of get people like, you know, just have fun, right? At the end of the day, if you're not having fun, why the hell are we getting together and doing this? Sure, we can fight, Peanut. You want to do like a friendly match? I can do like I can make a room. I can invite you. We can fight. And Quester, you told me a while ago. You said you were having content in mind for your channel. Like, did you figure that out? Like, did you figure out what you wanted to do besides the summons? I know you're a spender, right? I think you told me you're a dirty dolphin. So it'll be interesting to see stuff you got going on. I host multis quite a bit, especially when I triggered a whimsy shop or something. That's how I transition. Like if I'm playing just farming, I farm a whimsy shop, then I go multi, like as for a solid half an hour or more. But most of the time, I don't mind spending energy hosting because I have control. Wait a second. So Ben, you have a mule and you got Warrior of Light. Damn, dude, that's pretty good. Yeah, summon battle. Can you imagine that? We can do summon battles. I would love to do summon battles. That was one thing that when I used to watch YDCB, like he's probably like one of my favorite streamers. And to be honest, I don't follow too many streamers in the first place. But he was for me very entertaining. Like he would do like a lot of content. Like he already had money. Like his family already had like were pretty established in Singapore. So I think he chose to do what he does for a living. He actually does it for a living. But because, you know, he already had stuff to fall back on. So for me, like, he did a lot of stuff. Yes, Ushi, yeah, I used to watch Ushi Gaming all the time. But since he's, like, pretty much jumped off the wagon of a lot of these games, like, he only plays Ragnarok right now. Oh, I see, Ben. That sucks, man. Royal rank. Okay, I personally feel like a whale is defined as someone who spends over $500 a month. Now, I don't know how that translates to how you do in terms of games and things like that, but that's how I look at what a whale does. Anything more than $500 a month. Yeah, I think that'd be great, Quester, if you want to do collabs for collab events. I think for the next collab event, maybe we can get one going. And Zoom is free, by the way. I think the limit is 45 minutes. So if it was just me and you summoning, or have one more other person summoning, you just have to set up your, I don't know how we're going to do it. We're going to have to test it out before that happens, though. But basically, you just Zoom. It's like you just join a meeting room, right? And then it just zooms on your face on your camera, and then you can maybe just reflect your computer screen onto that. I don't know, but it shouldn't be that hard. I think if you speak in terms of War of the Visions, I think anything over rank 8 early on will be considered a whale, because you need to spend quite a bit of money. Oh, no, you're not Royal rank 102. You mean your player rank 102, right? Because I think you're referring to player rank. Ben, you're right. I think maybe we can just do Discord. Because I think having that limited time kind of sucks. In case we go over, then it was just going to cut off the stream. Oh, look at that. Platinum Rod. Yeah, we'll definitely look into that soon. Because we're not getting any collab anytime soon. And most summoning sessions are not worth doing. Wait a second. You're Royal rank 102? So that means you spend like $20,000-$30,000 on this game? Holy shit. I mean, does that sound right? You spend like, how much money did you spend? You're not a whale then. You're like a kraken. You're a kraken if you're Royal rank 102. Are you sure you don't own this game? Are you sure you're not one of those guys that's like working for the companies? Royal ranking 102, is that even possible? We're talking about potentially like 20-30 grand. So that means Quester already reached Royal rank 2 and you can't go beyond that. I'm really lost. I'm pretty sure he means player rank, because Royal rank, yeah, that's what I thought. Royal rank doesn't go beyond a certain level. I think I've seen player rank like 140, I think, if I'm not mistaken. He is the king of all Krakens. Actually, I think Kraken is a own entity, so yeah, he would be like above Kraken. He'll be Zeus. You're Zeus, man. Forget the Kraken. You're Zeus. You're the god of all gods. You're the king of gods. Ninja? Yes. There are many units that are ninjas. But you cannot dual wield as a ninja. There's no dual wielding in this game, which I hope one day they will give us that option. I would love to have dual wielding. That was one of my favorite things about ninjas back in the days. Well, Poseidon is still weaker than Zeus, I think. Actually, yeah, right. In terms of swimming, yeah, Poseidon would be the god of swimming. God of the sea, right? I guess he would be Poseidon. But anyways, my opinion is if you're a whale, you spend about 500 or more. Anything less than that will be probably a dolphin. But yeah, dual wielding would be pretty sweet. Imagine, because you know the ninjas are dual wielders. If you look at the animation, all the ninjas in this game are dual wielders. They're holding two weapons in their hands. I sometimes question, does Hiroki play the game? Like, he's the producer, right? So what exactly does he do? Like, he just produces. Is he the one that goes around begging for money? I think that's executive producers. So what does the producer do for a game? I think he gets the final say in things. Yeah, there's quite a few ninjas. Shadow Lynx, Keaton. Even Mediana has a ninja sub-job. There are a lot of ninja sub-jobs. But main class ninjas, Shadowlinks and Ketone are the only ones. And then something that's close to that would be Binara, which is Assassin. Yeah, but I mean, there are many reasons to spend money, right? You, one, spend money to support the game that you enjoy so that you can keep getting content. Two, you spend money to support a bigger player base, because the more money some individuals spend, that can potentially put more money into return in the game so that you can have a bigger free-to-play player base. But this game does do ads, so a lot of their revenues, I'm sure, comes from that. Also, that stupid Visual wall that they keep doing, that's trash, by the way. That's garbage. Don't do it, because it's just wasting time. Yeah, you can get some gems, but you're better off earning that gems by, you know, just working your normal job. You know what I'm saying? Like, the time you spend, I'd rather be spending time playing this game rather than spending time playing a different game to earn gems for this game. To me, that sounds backwards. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check my email. Like, I'll be honest, every time I check that email, there's nothing going on in there. So, yeah, I'll check it out if a lot of people have interest in doing that. I think that'd be a great way to do it. Right, but dual gunners do have dual wield, but I'm saying you actually dual wield. Like, you physically insert two weapons into the slot. You know how you can insert two accessories, but you cannot insert two armors? Like, dual wielding, imagine they actually have two different pistols. And then the animation and when you fight actually has it. That'd be kind of sweet. Yeah, on my channel, there's I have my email. I set it up as a business email. Yeah, you can send it to that. All the business emails be sent to that. I'll check that out later tonight or tomorrow. I personally want the dual wielding for the animation of like holding two weapons. I don't necessarily mean like, you know, that you're going to be more powerful per se. You will do more damage, obviously, because you increase your attack bar, but currently, you're right. Two types of units already dual wield: ninjas and dual gunners, and you can see them holding two weapons. It is. It's for show. That's why in those Hong Kong action films, where they have two pistols and they're shooting so effectively, yeah, it doesn't really work that way in real life. May, I don't mean paywall, my apologies. I mean the visual free wall. Like when you go into the visual where you can purchase, there's a wall that is free that is called a wall. And then what you do is you open it up and you can see all these different things you can do to earn free gems. Yeah, jumping is a thing. I mean, ninjas can jump. Well, I think you're probably pretty much taking this too literally. Like, can you imagine somebody who's a dragoon in the first place? I mean, you have to have dragons. So in a fantasy world setting, I think, technically speaking, anybody can be a dragoon. But I think we're diving into something more like, that's gonna be like, that's like saying things like it has to make sense in its own world. But after all, we're killing like Marlboros, right? Dudes with 700 eyes. So. Yeah, I apologize. I did say paywall. I apologize. I didn't mean paywall. I meant the visual wall. I just feel like you're better off spending the time playing this game than to play other games and to earn visuals for this game. to me, that doesn't sound right. It just seems so odd. Oh, my game crashed. So it looks like I think I got kicked out of the room because I crashed. We'll see. I mean, at least I can actually, at least I think that was one of the reasons I couldn't make content for this game when the game was out, because the emulator didn't allow us to play this game that well. And I don't have a app, which is not that expensive, like $10. You can mirror your phone onto the computer. But once they fixed the app, that's when I started like making content for this game. And I think that's why that's the reason why I didn't do it, yeah. But I think I will probably be, honestly, I'll probably be like 1,000 subscribers had I done this 2 months earlier than I did, because I missed the whole I missed the time in which a lot of the other content creators for this game started making content. What do you mean I keep it at normal. I keep the graphics under normal default. But I do have a mule that I use for farming. I turn that one down to low, because seemingly my computer doesn't handle 2 BlueStacks running at once. That's why I don't really do it. No, I'm not an Assassin's Creed fan. It's because the BlueStacks automatically updates the background for you every day. I only play Assassin's Creed for a little bit, and believe it or not, I used to watch people play Assassin's Creed on YouTube. Like, I watch people do Let's Play videos. I think the concept of that game is fun, but I personally don't play those type of games because I'm not good at it. I'm not good at those type of 3D type of games. I started getting lost in controls. My computer's a Legion. I don't know the specs, to be honest. If we bought it as a pre, I think it is. Like my computer seems to have issues when I run too many programs at once. Even though it's a gaming it's a gaming machine. We bought it for gaming purposes. We actually bought one of those, what do you call those things? Those virtual reality headsets. But it started giving us it started making us feel nauseous. So we bought it and we played it for like a couple of days, and we just have it set aside. Yeah, it's a Lenovo Legion, yeah. I don't live with my friends anymore. Like around my friends anymore. And I used to have them build me machines. I used to have them build me specific computer engines just for gaming with top of the line video cards and things like that. But this computer is already like a year old, so it's probably already starting to wane. So we probably have to maybe update in like a year or so. I used to play fighting games all the time, Mario. Like, I used to play competitively in fighting games. If you didn't know that already. I played Tekken, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. A little bit of Samurai Showdown. And I think that's pretty much it. Competitively, I play Tekken Tag the most, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Those are the only 2 games I used to like enter contests and stuff like that. Other side. King of Fighters. I wasn't good at King of Fighters. To me, it feels a little slow paced back in the days, like the old school King of Fighters. But the new King of Fighters, they look a little bit more fast-paced. Of course, my reflex was a lot better when I was younger, right? I mean, imagine Tekken Tag, that's pretty old. So I was in my 20s, so I was able to do pretty well. And of course, muscle memory, you have to do a lot of practice in fighting games. And having that reflex definitely is good. That's why now if I play fighting games, I would prefer joystick over like control pads. I can't play fighting games on control pads. I actually play like first-person shooters a lot too, but I can't play them on console games. I can't play them on console. I can only play them on computer. So that I think RPGs is like the most. I think RPGs are the safest bet in terms of playing, because you can take your time. You know, you don't need reflex. You can play them when you're like older. When you become older, it's like a timeless game, timeless genre of games. I don't have any more videos. I don't have any videos, man, dude. We didn't even have cameras on our phones back in the days, dude. We're talking about Tekken Tag. That's like what, 1990, late 90s, early 2000. There's no smartphones. You know, I was too poor to like really think about any of those. I wasn't on like a pro circuit or anything. Like I would do a lot of tournaments locally, and there will be some pros that will come to my local arcade, and I would play against them, and I would be competitive. I would be competitive enough to beat them, but I never like enter like Evo or anything like that. I would love to. Like, if modern gaming was a thing back in the days, I would probably be in that circuit for a long time, because I enjoy that. Like, I enjoy playing against people. But I think I was good enough to beat most people. Like, I would be able to beat like at least 80% of the general population in video games. Now, definitely not. I wouldn't even be in the top. I wouldn't even be able to beat like 20% of the population right now. I tried Exos Heroes Quester. That game is not good, man. It is not good at all. I'm so glad I didn't jump on the hype train. I tried. I even made a review video and I deleted it. Because first off, the emulators can't handle it that well. And second off, the game is very boring. I used to use maps, bro. We used to use maps, Peanut. Paper maps. That's how old I am. Paper maps was a legitimate thing. I grew up in the 80s. I grew up in the late 80s. I'm in my 40s, man. I'm an old dude. I think I'm the oldest dude that creates content for War of the Visions. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm the oldest dude. I don't think I've seen too many old dudes. Actually, you know what? There is this family. I think they're a grandma-grandpa duo that makes video game videos. And they actually play War of the Vision. So definitely I'm not the oldest, but yeah. I'm gonna say this. This is officially on video. My fiance defeated me in Tekken 6. And that's when I officially retired fighting games. Like, she smashed buttons and killed me so fast, and that's when I decided to quit the entire fighting game altogether. And this was only like, I don't know, a few years ago. Yeah, I don't think I'm the oldest in terms of like, I know there's a grandpa duel or grandparents duel that plays games, but I think who covers this game like you know, daily basis, I think I am the oldest. Well, I don't think it was that bad. I just feel like It's redundant. It's just a redundant game of on the current market. Like if you enjoy that type of game, you know, I recommend playing it. Like graphically is the best for that genre. Like, you know, your standard turn-based RPG. But gameplay wise, nah man, it's they try to create this whole break system, but break system has been done many times in different games. And for me, it's nothing new. And overall, I don't enjoy the art. I think it's kind of unnecessarily weird, like the way it's designed. And they try to be over the top with their animation, attack animations. But that gets old so fast, I promise you. It gets old really fast. Like this game, we have the option to turn it off. In that game, I don't think you have the option to turn it off. So you just sit there staring at that all day long, or you just let it farm itself. And what's the point of playing a game if you're not going to look at it? What's going on, Alfonso? Welcome, man. Welcome. Counter smash button that strat, man. I did. I thought about just picking a character in Tekken and just like, I'm going to just start smashing button. But she still beat me. It's just like, I wasn't sure if it was because the character was so overpowering or is it because the fact that I just started sucking. And I just concluded that it was both. And, you know, it's fair enough to retire, you know, at that age, you know, your late 30s, why not? I used to love Puzzle Fighter. That was a fun game, too. You let me know, man. If you're tired of spending energy, you let me know anytime, dude. I have lots of energy stored, but, you know, I'm not, like, in need to. Yes, Eddie. Okay, see, people think Eddie was a button smasher. He actually wasn't. He's legit. In Tekken Tag, he was actually legitimate character that people selected and competitive. He wasn't ranked very high. There was a tier list, but I always chose. You know, I always went against tier lists because I like to beat people down without using top tier units, and I would do it. I used to play Paul, like that was my go-to guy. And I would do that. The move was called Phoenix Smasher. Woo, you better watch out because that thing is gonna come out of nowhere. And yeah, I'll take a lot of pro players. Okay, yeah, that's a shit ton. Yeah, Horan can be a button smasher, but he was actually considered top tier. There was this string of moves called the Horan Dance, which many pros used, and it was pretty nasty to defend. So if you run into those guys in competitive play, yeah, it's pretty rough to defend. Horong was good though. Like I have lost many matches to Horong. He was stupidly annoying. King, however, King took a lot of patience and skills. King was actually Armor King too. Those two were really. That was a nice character. Hard learning curve. Yeah, Nina was legit. Nina was legit. Nina and her sister. I forgot her name. Anna, right? Anna. Yeah, they're both legit. And then this one guy in my local arcade, he used to play Julia. Holy shit, he loved that character. Sometimes it's hard to defend against the moves. But my true love really after Tekken was Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Like I hope to own a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 like arcade cabinet and put that in my house one day. Yeah, I play Soul Calibur. I did. I play all kinds of fighting games. Not competitively, you know. I chose my fighting games. I chose it with care. Like I know that I want to dive into certain fighting games, but Soul Calibur for me, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy Mortal Kombat either because I didn't like the idea that you have to hold a button to block for Mortal Kombat. You know, so to me that seems off-putting. So I didn't put a lot of effort into those games. I played a lot of games. I'm a gamer, man. I owned all fighting games. I owned, at one point, like 80 to 90% of all RPGs on the market. Like across all platforms. Except PC, of course. And then once mobile RPGs became a real thing, that's when I just got off collecting games. Soul Calibur was pretty. That was for sure. It had nice graphics. And that's what I think attracted a lot of players to play those type of games. Because, you know, during the technology increase, people always craved better graphics. But in modern day, we all realize that now we're going to the point where people are just concentrating on graphics and not on actual gameplay. So you don't have that Chrono Trigger, you don't have that Final Fantasy Tactics, you don't have any of those defining, you know, in man's history type of gaming anymore, right? Call of Duty is just a rehash every single 6 months, as are, you know, Assassin's Creed, Just Cause, or any of those zombie games. They're all just a rehash of the exact same game 6 months prior, because there's nothing original anymore. There's literally not a whole lot of originality in games. And I jump away from console games years ago, but I still play like my Switch. You know, I still play Switch. There's a lot of, you know, some unique stuff that they create from the Nintendo teams. So hey Martin, thank you, welcome. Yes, I'm a big fan, but I tested out on Saturday. I think it's a good idea because now you have a higher chance to go after the memories that you're targeting, but the drop rate is the same. It's still shitty. So that's my only opinion on it. Nothing really changed other than the fact that you've broken it down into 3 separate dungeons rather than one large ass dungeon. And in the old format, I was still able to get lucky once in a while where I can get 2 different types of memories. And I only farm on Saturdays, by the way, because it's 2x drop. So I can get almost all of my jobs done within 1 day, 1 day's worth. If I got lucky enough, and I can get multiple jobs done in 1 day, and that's the only reason why I do it. But now it's like you have to just kind of skip around, and that's really the only difference, right? The only thing that's changed is the fact that it broke it down for you, rather than, you know, change the drop rate or give you the option to exchange memories for memories. I think eventually they probably will give us the option to exchange memories, but currently, you know, we don't have that option. We don't have that luxury, so you have to keep farming, and that's where the time sink is going to go into. I think it's a nice touch. I was surprised they gave us that without really giving a heads up on it. Hopefully that answered your question. Yeah, there's 3 different rooms now. It used to be 1 giant room. Yeah, Breath of the Wild, I played that game a lot. Like my fiance actually enjoyed watching me play that game because there were so many puzzles to that game, and there were a lot of it where she had to help me. Like, she's really good at problem solving, so she's good at games in that sense. Like, she's really good at that. So we used to enjoy playing it together. And then, unfortunately, it always ended up me just going on to YouTube and look it up. It's just kind of shitty way of playing games nowadays, right? You have to you quickly can just look shit up. But I guess it does save you a lot of time. But it takes away the whole, let me see if I can figure this out on my own type of feeling. So. Yeah, I think they may have, I don't know if they necessarily nerfed it, but I think they definitely, it used to be, I would say, since I play so much of that farming on Saturdays, I would have to say roughly 1 out of 4 runs will give me a memory of some kind. Now it's more than that. Like, I've gone 6 straight runs with no memories. So yeah, maybe it's a shadow nerf, but it's such a small amount of data that it cannot be used as actual evidence, right? It's too anecdotal, it's too little support to show that's actual data. You have to farm it. You have to generate it 1,000,000 times, and computer has to generate 1,000,000 times for you to draw anything conclusive. He can give you the password. Hey, Eneoth. I hope I pronounced your name right. After investment I made on Word, I couldn't quit, and I don't want to quit either. This game is too young. Yeah, I agree. I don't think you should walk away completely. I think if Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, Quester, you should probably just, not play for a little bit on this game, concentrate on Breath of the Wild, but you're going to be bored out of console games much faster than mobile games. Because even if they do DLC, which they do, it's still not enough to keep my interest. And that game was hard for me. Like, I guess I'm old, man. I'm getting old. I can't do action games anymore. Like right now, I'm chatting with y'all with my hands free, because these type of games allow me to have that option. But I still have to sit here because I have to physically click ready every couple of minutes, whatever. I look at it as that I'm diving all the way in, right? One, I made a YouTube channel to support my gaming. Two, I'm investing a shit ton of man hours into creating videos, editing those videos, and playing this game every single day for the last 5 months. So I'm invested in that sense. Monetary wise, that's not a big deal because you can always earn the money one way or another. I think it's more like you're investing so much time. I'm pretty sure all of us have easily sank several hundred hours of playing this game. Probably more than that, actually. If you average, say, 5 hours a day, multiplied by 140 days, that's like equivalent to playing an MMO, right? I think the next raid could be Ifrit raid. I think is Ifrit. I think Theory, I think what's his name? Theory Craft Gaming? Something like that. He was talking about the next raid schedule. Like he was talking about the next raid, and he was talking about he's another YouTuber that covers this game. I think he was talking about what we need to do to prepare for that raid. Theory Craft Gaming, aka Dave. Yes, Dave. Yes, like if I work my normal job, YouTube wouldn't even be like 5% of that. Because even if I was monetizing, like if I reach 1,000 subscribers and I monetize and I stream on Twitch, if I did all of that and I asked for donations and all that shit, it still wouldn't be enough. Because the equipment that I bought so far is already money that I'm sinking into this, technically speaking, right? Because that's right there, money spent, and then of course the time spent. So if I was to equate to the time that I'm used, that I can pick up shifts for work, yeah, it's no way you can compare that. I will be a whale in this game. If I just simply work and spend money that I make, I will be a heavy whale. I will be like a kraken. Yes, rain will be the ideal, supposedly. But, which means they're going to push rain, right? If they don't push rain, they're going to push another unit for that raid. Whatever the case is, it depends on how you want to approach the next raid. Is it worth you farming the gear? If you want to be competitive, quote unquote, in the future of the game, yes. If you don't care about all that in terms of PvP, then no, you don't have to. Yes, exactly. A Brosidon. I'll be a Brosidon. Yeah, me too, Quester. I'm not a huge fan of multi. It's too stressful, man. Like, people don't like your unit. They don't even give you time to switch unit. They kick you out of the room. I'm like, fuck that. No, thank you, man. Like, that's why I think if I do, imagine if we do raid on stream, that would be much easier to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should just do that. I should just stream while I'm doing raid. Then the viewers can just jump on. And we don't even have to be serious about it if you don't want to. Even though there's a lot of serious players in my stream right now, and there are a lot of serious players that support this channel. I think I understand why people are serious and hardcore, and I'm totally respecting that 100%. It's just I'm choosing not to do that myself. That's it. I think a lot of people do that. A lot of people, like, if you just join the stream or my channel, I'm in my early 40s, so I'm more of like a late gamer age. Not, you know, I'm in the bell curve of things. I'm towards the bottom part, you know, the downhill part in terms of age. But I still feel young. You know what I'm saying? That's why I play games, and I love games in general. So for me, I just play them for the fact of, one, nostalgia. Two, I love this type of game, very relaxing. And three, if I want to be serious, I can be, because there's a lot of room to be serious. So that game gives me that flexibility. Like, first-person shooters is kind of just like straight up. You got to be serious, right? Fighting games, same thing. Those type of things, not a lot of room for flexibility there. I agree. Most people don't enjoy mobile games because they think it's not serious, quote unquote. And it's all good because I think console gamings are trash in general now. So it's just about your perception, man. Like, I like kiddie games now. I prefer those kiddie, like, well-designed games rather than these high graphics, you know, like not a lot of substance. Although that new game, I forgot the name, that new like samurai game, I like those type of games. There's a lot of those type of games when I used to play on PlayStation, things like that, where you stealth around and you assassinate people and stuff like that. Nash, you've been gaming long too. Yeah, man. Enioth, I've been playing games since I was about 9 years old. So I would say roughly 30 years of gaming experience. Mobile gaming experience, probably like 10 plus years, or give or take, maybe 10. Gacha games, definitely like around 10. So I know my fair share of gaming. I'm very bad at expressing myself when it comes to YouTube, because like I write things down before I say it, but once you start recording and you're staring at a camera, it's a lot harder to be good at, you know, saying things. And if I really took the time to edit every single my videos meticulously, it would take me like 5-10 hours to do it, like quote unquote like a super badass job. That's why in the beginning of me doing YouTube videos, people always give me a lot of feedback about how fast I talk or how slow I talk, my sound quality, the way I keep repeating myself over and over. I notice I do that a lot. And so, you know, I'm trying to improve, but it's not that easy. You know, I'm not a young 20-year-old where I can do everything's, you know, everything comes so easily. It's still, there's some sort of barrier, it seems like, when you get a little bit older. And that's why for me, I think it takes time for viewers to get to know me. That's why I slowly do reviews to my viewers about who I am, what I do, and things like that. Because I feel like it's like, you know, you pick up a book and you're kind of like learning more and more. And I guess character development, right? It's like what I'm trying to engineer. And I think it's working in that sense. I think in the growth rate of this YouTube channel, I thought I would be growing faster, but then I realized a lot of it has to do with timing. A lot of it is timing, luck, and also if people truly enjoy who you are. And on top of it, I'm only covering War of the Visions really now. Like all the other games I play, I cut them out. So I also joined in the content creating part 2 months behind the actual schedule. So I think that's why my subscriber rate is a lot lower than, say, some of the other guys. Because the other guys already got their big supporting group established in terms of numbers. And when people see large numbers on a channel, they tend to gravitate towards that, right? it kind of makes sense. If everyone else is watching this person must be the bomb. So, you know, the subscriber rate will exponentially grow. Yeah, Martin, the music thing, yes. The problem is, I actually did mention that in one of my videos, is that Square Enix is actually cracking down on the uses of their music because they're recently going to upload, I think, if not all their music, onto one of the websites where they're trying to sell the music. So I have to switch my music to other type of music. I can no longer do all of these Final Fantasy, whatever, Tactics Ogre, or whatever music. I used to do Final Fantasy Tactics, Tactics Ogre, all these music on my videos, but I can't do them anymore. So I think what I have to do is I have to maybe find other types of music, and it's also hard to do because you cannot play the music you enjoy because of everybody wants a piece of that pie if you monetize. Right now I'm not monetizing. So it doesn't really matter in that sense if I get copyright claims because I'm not monetized. They're not considered strikes. But Square is filing against YouTube channels even if they're not monetizing to claim strikes against them to try to shut them down. So I can no longer do any more Square Enix music. So I have to find other types of music. So for those of you who watched my last video, it was actually Mega Man songs. Mega Man music, which I thought it was kind of, you know, cool for it, but I have to be more creative with my music, that's for sure. But it's hard. It's very hard to do that. So that's why I noticed that some bigger YouTubes actually have no music because they realize they don't want to deal with that headache. And when you're editing videos, you have to add the music and you have to actually clip it just to match your emotions or match the content you're creating. And that just takes more time. So I think sometimes I'd rather just have no music for perhaps, like, say, I don't know, more serious stuff. And then for not so serious stuff, yeah, any type of music will work, I think. Yes, see, that's the thing, right? Everyone has their own attractions to YouTube videos. Like, the content that I watch is generally has to be entertaining. Like, there's other people where I don't care about their personality at all, and I only seek those videos out for information. But then there are people whose main focus is just to entertain, and their content is all over the place. But it's fun because they're funny and they're entertaining me. So I can actually just sit there and watch for like 30 minutes to couple of hours worth of entertainment. You know, it's like watching a movie. Right now we're at 23 viewers watching my stream, and I did not expect to go this long, to be quite honest, but people enjoy this kind of interaction because it's fun for them. And so I don't think I can entertain everyone. And at the same time, there are going to be people that say, well, Nash, why don't you create content that's more informative? And I plan on doing some of that. I do. And I think next week I'm going to start doing that. But at the same time, I want to stick to my own way of doing things, right? I want to make sure I do my funny things. And sometimes people don't interpret my way of looking at things as funny. They think it's, what the hell is wrong with you kind of mentality. So that's kind of the part of the entertainment business, is you don't know how people are going to react to your stuff. Eventually, people are going to realize who you are, and then they're going to accept it. And for those people who are not going to willing to accept you anyways, there's nothing you can do in the world to get them. And I'm learning that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I see people subscribe to the channel and they leave, and then, you know, whatever. But at the end of the day, there's not much I can do in terms of convincing people to subscribe to me, because I'm trying to cater to specific target audience. My target audience is people who enjoy being entertained. That's it. I think that's my ultimate target audience. And if people find even one useful thing from my videos, then that's good. If they don't, well, at least hopefully they were entertained for good 10, 15 minutes of their time. Yeah, you're right. Like people do. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try string beats. But I think in general though, like I'm not trying to be over the top. Everything I do is myself. There's nothing forced. Like I'm not a very like super reactive person like I used to be when I was in my 20s. I'll be super hyper about things. But now it's like my reactions seem to be a little delayed. You know, I don't exaggerate anything I do on my videos. And I usually don't have scripts. That's why a lot of times I repeat myself. So that's why when I do edit, I try to usually edit out anything I repeat myself. But I feel like the growth of the channel is actually fine. Like on this pace, I should hit 1,000 by roughly like 8 months into when I started. But I'm already noticing that the growth is a little bit higher on certain content that I create, and sometimes I get none, and it's just what it is, right? You can't keep making the same content to attract new subscribers, because I'm not one of those dudes that are fully dedicated to try to make this into a career right now. This is a hobby, and you know, I'm treating things as just an extracurricular way of socializing. I think the stream for me is socializing. Yes, I think you're right, Martin. That's absolutely correct. The copyright is very obnoxious. But at the same time, if you stream and you put that content onto YouTube, it's still going to get copyright strikes. So in general, YouTube is just very copyright restrictive, right? But then again, I don't think you can do everything you want to do on Twitch, right? You can't wear brand name clothes. You can't play music that's copyrighted, I think, for Twitch. You still have to respect all the copyright, because those are federal law. They're not like jurisdiction in certain areas. They're strict across the board. Like I can't wear brand name clothes. I can't wear brand name hats. But I think we're gonna call it in 13 minutes because it's dragging too much. Not for the fact that I don't want to hang out with you all, but it's just I have to I have to cut myself off, or else I can go all night. You know what I'm saying? I could be playing this game till 5, 6 in the morning, like sometimes I do. But I do have a fiance. You know, I do have to walk my dogs again before they go to bed. So I do have some responsibilities I need to attend to. Yeah, I think Twitch is kind of iffy. That's why I'm kind of like thinking about not doing Twitch, because yeah, I can make a few bucks, but I mean that's not a good driving force for me. You know, I mean, realistically speaking, let's say how much can I make, right? I make what, 30 bucks? What's 30 bucks gonna give me? That can't even buy me a pack in War of the Visions. Like I literally can't even go on stream and be like, all right guys, let's do some summoning for fun. Let me go buy 10 packs. I can't even buy a pack for 30 bucks. All right, you know, thanks for dropping by, man. Yeah, thank you for coming by, dude. I'm happy you're here, and welcome. I don't think I don't think I talked to you before, but yeah, welcome to the stream. Well, hopefully we'll do more streams in the future. Maybe like twice a week. I think that's fair. Yeah, man. Yeah, I welcome it. I need to figure out. I try to post a designated thing for live, and for some weird reason I couldn't activate it. So I think I'm just gonna announce when I'm gonna do it and not set it up on my schedule, because I think that threw a lot of people off. Yeah, have a good one, man. Don't work too hard. Ronnie, that's a loaded question because my favorite unit was Yerma, believe it or not, because I was very attracted to the way she was designed. The Viking, I love Vikings. I watch anything and everything Viking. Um, but right now, like my favorite unit will have to be Warrior Light because he is everything I dreamed about of a tank. You mean like opportunity cost and like pull now instead of later type of thing? Like if you pull now, you can build it outright, and as opposed to later on when you have to wait longer. Is that what you mean by the opportunity cost? I actually, Martin, believe it or not, have every single tank in the game right now, every single one on my main account. And if I stop collecting tanks, that would just seems counterproductive. So yes, I will absolutely not skip Agrias. I will be going after her 100%, fully loaded. Hey, thanks, man. Welcome, man. I don't think I, like I said, chatted with you before, so welcome to the family. Hope to see you in the future as well. And yeah, enjoy your week, man. Don't work too hard. I think you're right, Ben. I think I will talk about that because that's one of the part of the summons or save videos where I'll say if you want to build your unit right away, you have to summon right away. But if you plan on not thinking about that unit, just don't even ever think about that unit. So the opportunity cost is absolutely a thing for people. But for free-to-play players, right, most of us in this room are not free-to-play, or at least on some accounts. So I don't think that's logical because you can't do it that way. But that's the thing, Ben. Like you already understand how the game works. You don't need every single unit. And if you're saving for specifics, then once you have those units, then you can move on to doing other things. Working on your vision cards, your equipment are just as important, if not more important. You don't need a diverse team to clear content in this game, though. That one guy, I forgot his name. I think his name is Chris or something. He goes by Nerd Gaming or Nerd Knight or something. Nerd Knight, I think. He has a YouTube channel, and he said he beat all the tower with just 5 units, which I find that hard to believe because you would still have to reset too much. And I think that's okay to do because you'd have to just reset every day, but you cannot clear the last 2 floors with 5 units. That's impossible. Actually, I shouldn't say impossible. It's very hard to do. Yeah, I haven't tried level 90. I don't think I can beat level 90, to be honest. I don't think many people can. It's pretty tough. But level 80 to me wasn't hard. It was just a matter of luck. I think you can get lucky, and your strategy has to be if you move your units at the right time. I think that's where the luck comes in. But those people that can play chess, they can foresee the steps and everything. They shouldn't be too hard for them people. Peanut, I don't think you should have that mentality of get it or quit mentality because the game likes to give reruns, so there's chances that they'll bring everything back in the future. And quitting the game because of one unit that you don't have for what, few months, I don't think is a good reason to quit the game. Because if that's your reasoning, then you're playing, in my opinion, okay, take it like a grain of salt. In my opinion, you're playing the game for the wrong reason. And even though I say you're entitled to your own reason, I personally feel like that's not a good reason to play the game. You don't need to have every unit. You don't even need to have the units that you want. Yeah, that's all I did. I just kept utilizing the resets. In fact, I didn't even do, I just kept zerging with my crappy units because energy to me is well worth investing for those rewards, right? But I realized you're just trying to get rid of skills, but they have so many skills. Like Venera really did a number on me. I had a hard time beating that in the beginning. But once I realized you just have to make sure you have your units to do holy on her and kill those stupid thieves, then just utilize the resets. And personally, I didn't run the tower more than once. I felt like it was not worth the investment because the rewards were stupid. They were just medals. Like, what do I need that for? I don't need to make my Crimson Sword Uber because I don't have Rain leveled up. It was pointless for me. And if I don't ever get the best Crimson all the way leveled up, then I just have to wait, you know. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's part of the thing. Even if you're well, you wouldn't be able to just buy outright the fully decked out Crimson. You have to farm it. And I feel like that time wasn't worth it for me to go through that entire process multiple times. Because I started dreading it when I was reaching the higher floors. I was like, man, this is so tedious. So, it's not really worth it for me. Right, but see, what if they gave us 30 floors this time, right? See what I'm saying? Like, if they gave us a different type of the tower where the floors are even harder, or maybe they tweak all the content downwards, right? Because 19 and 20 were pretty hard. In fact, 19 was actually, in my opinion, harder than 20. Because those guys hit so hard. And so if they did 30 floor, it wouldn't make any sense to make the difficulty go skyrocket from 21 onwards. They will have to tweak 19 and 20 to make them weaker. That would make more sense for the general player base. So then you wouldn't actually have to farm less per se. It just means that the people who didn't care about it the first time will have an easier time the second time. Maybe. My Zen mode is don't think about future content. Be aware of the future content, but don't think too much about it until it actually hits. Because everything is hearsay, right? As Judge Judy says, everything is just hearsay. Don't believe in it. It doesn't hold in court of law. So no matter what content creator out there are creating content about predicting this shit and that shit coming, it's hearsay. I don't even care. I don't even click on those videos anymore. I just wait for every Sunday/Monday morning. Then I'll know exactly what they're giving us. And then I always wait Wednesday morning for them to officially give us exactly what's going on for the next 2 weeks. And I think that's why the news videos are so popular on those days, because people really want to know what's going on. And I'm sticking to that because I don't even watch Cabbage's Japanese update stuff anymore because honestly I don't care, because it doesn't affect me, right? Whatever's going on the Japanese server doesn't necessarily means that it's going to translate to the global server. I understand why he does it, because he's a Japanese YouTuber more or less, and he has that luxury to cover the Japanese server and the global server. I don't have that luxury. I only cover the global server. So I can't afford to dilute my thinking with all the stuff they're trying to throw at us. Well, Quester, like for the raids, I never prep weeks in ahead. In fact, I have prepped 0 for all the raids. Like, I knew about them, right? But I never leveled a Lucia because I don't own a Lucia. I never leveled a Venera because I don't own a Venera. I made my adjustments when the raid hit me. Like, I thought the very first time I made a raid prep video was for the white chocolate, no, the white marshmallow raid. And I said it would be Shadowlings would be the key unit. And I was dead wrong. It actually turned out to be my Orlando and my Gafgarion. And I was able to get everything and anything I actually wanted from the shop. But at the same time, I didn't want to go hard on the raid. I hate raid. I can't stand raid. Because they're giving us UR items that are really great, but you have to earn them with such investment in the game. And I wasn't willing to keep joining multis to try to get more recipes. This time I just farmed 7 recipes for both of those equipment, and I got the rainbows, and that's it. And I was done. I was happy with that because, you know, I'm not in that competitive field to +5 everything. And more power to those people that were farming, what, 400, 500,000 victory points? That's insanity, man. I just don't see how anybody could do that. You know, I don't question their reason to do it. I just personally wouldn't want to do that. Hey man, I don't give a fuck what your username. Hey, cool. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, yes, you're right. But I didn't bring Orlando to those multis. Don't misunderstand what I was saying. I mained Orlando on my solo because he actually did just as much damage with Gafgarion. And yes, I agree. You can't and probably should kick Orlando because everyone tries to bring their most powerful unit. But for that raid, I brought Gafgarion. And I actually didn't max him at the time, so he was like in the high 80s and people were still kicking me. So I was like, well, if that's how people felt, then I just don't care. And then I just stopped doing multis, period. I didn't do any multis at all. Like, I did maybe like a little bit like during the late 70s, but then after that I said fuck it. I didn't want to do it. Well, here's the thing, right? The Death Machine raid was a different concept compared to the other 2 raids. The Death Machine was a supplement way to get the Armor of Light, whereas the other raid were not. They were actually designed in its own entity, and you trying to earn your UR recipes, and you were earning quite a few number of rainbow things. So the Death Machine, I soloed the entire thing. I think most people just soloed, and that raid was easy. That raid was actually quite easy. It's just a matter of zerging at the end when you get to the late 70s and then early the level 80. You didn't need anything spectacular. You just need a bunch of slashing units, really, to be honest. Like, you could be more efficient with a full rain team, but look, we're not here to talk about, you know, the most efficient tactic available, which, by the way, is what meta stands for. That's not meta, right? To me, I didn't do anything meta. I just did whatever I could scrounge up and, you know, reach my personal goals, which was never, you know, try to maximize anything. I have 2+5 Armor of Light. I have 1+5, and I have enough to make 2 other +2s, and I feel like that's enough because you don't need that many units. In a real encounter, you're not going to use 3 tanks because only really tanky units can wear that armor in the first place. Like, here's the thing. I had no issues people kicking me, but what I did have an issue was, why are you kicking me when I actually brought an ideal unit? Like, was my level not high enough? I didn't get it, right? At that point, I just kind of gave up. I didn't want to be part of that negativity, that toxicity of that. And that's why I feel like multi is very toxic at times. And that's why I made that video about, you know, etiquette. Why are people acting like jerks when they don't need to? You know, having an elitist attitude is fine, is respectful, but you shouldn't pass that disrespect onto other players who don't share the same sentiment as you. And at the end of the day, if that's how things are done, then give us the ability to make private rooms by having a better chat system in the game, which you can just invite people. You know, then the people who are tryhards can just make their own teams and not have to engage with other people in the community where they're not welcome or they're not accepted by people who are in the higher, you know, trying whatever. I think there's just ways you can actually improve upon that. I don't know what, like, it's always easy for me to say there's ways to improve and not give you an example how to improve. I always personally am against that philosophy. But honestly, I don't know if there are too many ways to really improve it. It just, I think, end of the day, I didn't enjoy that. And if I don't enjoy it, then I'm not going to bother trying to get something that I don't want or need in the first place. And that just further supported the idea that I didn't need to go and play the game that way. Yes, I can actually play this game at my job because I just auto. I just auto and farm while I'm giving medicine to kids or whatever it is that I'm doing. You know, I just can't stand by my phone when I'm at work. That would be unprofessional. Ranty, you're hardcore. That's too funny, man. You're entertaining. You're entertaining me tonight. Yeah, I think people oversell Orlando. That's for sure. I don't kick people unless they're AFKing. I usually accept anyone and everyone. But for the purpose of raid, yes. I think that's where people can be very selective. And I don't blame people for that. I don't. That's not my thing. It's fine. People are entitled to it because they're the ones that's hosting it, right? And end of the day, when you do multis beyond the first try, everyone has to spend an orb. So it's fair to actually go and be very picky of the people that you're playing with because you want to make sure you're not wasting your orbs. Hey Alpha Prime, how you going, man? Yes, I am the Karate Kid. I block AFK. I wish I could. People try to be mean to me about me expressing myself about that video, the multi thing, but fuck it, man. Like I have the ability to block people from my channel, and that's what I do when I find someone to be too negative. So hey, there you go. If I have the power to do it, I'm gonna do it. But I'm not a huge fan of people who are auto clicking. If they're doing it, I don't know how you actually set up auto clicking. All right, that's first and foremost. I don't know. I'm ignorant to that. But I'm pretty sure you can actually set the timer, right? The interval which you can hit OK. And some people take so long they'll hit OK and they'll quickly hit not OK, and then just like that, I find that obnoxious. I just actually experienced that twice 2 days ago. And whereas this guy, who's the host, has to time it just right when the auto clicker is hitting the ready button. And there was 2 auto clickers in that. And I'm like, dude, this is taking way too long to try to time it just right so everyone hits ready. And I'm sorry, man. That's just my thing. Like, I don't enjoy that. Like, I'm not gonna like hide it. Yes, people are auto clicking now, and I made a video about it. And some people are getting upset. And I said just like that, I don't like it. And if I don't like something, I'm gonna express it. Like auto clicking is not illegal. I understand it, but it's annoying, right? It's obnoxious, and there's nothing wrong with it if you do it right. But I'm pretty sure the programming itself, some people are not good at it, so they program it to be all off, and that I'm sure irritates other players. If I'm in a room right now, Ben, full of auto clickers, then your auto clicking is the bomb because there's been no delay at all. You're right, Quester. I agree. It's better than those dickheads who just sit there and for whatever reason they're not hitting the ready button after like 30 seconds. My rule is if I'm hosting a room, I give people 10 seconds after their screen shows up on my screen where they go not darkened out, whatever. If they don't hit ready within 10 seconds, then I kick them. That's just how I am because I definitely lack patience when it comes to other people's time. All right, I think it's time to call it. I know I said it 13 minutes ago, and that was 20 something minutes ago. I'm glad we do Alpha because, I'm not here to try to make friends to get people to take sides. I think people need to understand that. I'm just expressing myself, and if people understand it, cool. If they don't, that's fine too. I respect everyone the same. It's when people come at me personally, that's when I have to ban them from my channel or anything else, I guess. No, there's nothing wrong with auto-click, man. I promise you, I don't have a problem with auto-clickers. I have a problem who program their auto-clicking bad. That's what my problem is. Anyways, that's a whole new. That's gonna take all night for me to really like go off on again. Anyways. Yes, 13 minutes. All right, everybody. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. After this run, I'm gonna shut the stream off. But I had a lot of fun tonight, as always. I think when you have more people come in and then kind of just like give their perspectives on the game and life, whatever. I think for me, that's where I'm having so much joy playing this game. And I think that's why I think streaming is a different way for me to enjoy the game. You know, alongside just making content for this game. So hopefully we'll do more. I think my usual plan is if my fiance is working, I usually try to do more streams on those nights. And then if not, then I try to do streams on weekends, because I'm finding that content creating on weekends is a lot harder because my views are less. There's less views on weekends. I think people are doing things with their family, what the hell ever, you know? So I think in the future, I might not put out any videos at all on the days that I stream. And I think that's fair, right? So. All right, guys. Have a good night, man. Thank you for all coming. Take care.